Sauce 23 here. Today's Knife Therapy, I have the Quiet Carry the 9. This one really has gotten me super pumped up and excited about 2023. And I'm doing this review right now because there may or may not be some limited number of these being dropped tomorrow on Sunday, depending on when you watch this. In two different variations. Now, it's not a definite right now, but I will leave links in the description to this. So if you missed out on this limited drop right here, you're not going to want to miss the next one because one of them, it looks good. But let's get into this knife. I don't think there's any secret that I absolutely love me some Quiet Carry knives. I think I have just about every model, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon because I absolutely love them. They make excellent EDC friendly knives. Now, most of them are premium, except these two. These weren't super expensive, but the titanium ones are premium knives. The thing that drew me to them, besides aesthetics, was the fact that you had knives that they were using this right here, Vanex Super Clean. Not only Vanex Super Clean, but everything on this knife is pretty much rust proof. You have marine grade stainless clip, LC200N liner lock here. Just look at that. Look at that beautiful texture right there. They just make them the way I love them. I can't really fault them for much of anything. I love this one. This was a grail of mine whenever they came out with the thumb hole. I have that one as well, but this one, and one thing that they're known for is making these beautiful knives with phosphor bronze washers, so they have very silky smooth action on every single one of them that I have. And then you have like the Quiet Carry IQ XL on bearings. And wow, nice and smooth action. This one's a light blade. So I didn't think I could be surprised that much. That's what I'm trying to say until this one came out. Let's get some quick specs out of the way. You have a total length of 7.54 inches. So it's in that medium to larger range for most people. Blade length of 3.28 inches. A grip area in front of that choil to the back right here of 3.37. Or if you want to go all the way to the front to the back right here is 3.7 inches. Your handle scale thickness is 0.46, so it's a little thin. Closed width in the pocket from here to here is 1.35 inches, and the blade stock thickness is coming in at 0.118. The behind the edge thickness on my particular knife is around 19 to 20 thousandths, sharpened at 20 degrees per side. I really love how we're seeing these companies using these high-end exotic materials like the fat carbon that you're seeing by them, Kaiser, Concept. You're seeing a lot of companies using it more readily, and it used to be a very rare thing to see because it's not the cheapest material. So that's always a nice thing, and seeing it in this platform, I don't know, there's something about this that just drew me into this knife, and knowing what I know about Quiet Carry and how good their knives are, it was a no-brainer here. Let's take a close look at this. You have a clip point blade, and it kind of looks like they took the Quiet Carry Eddie blade and widened it up some. That's what it kind of looks like to me, which I don't mind because I love this one. Your blade finish on here is a reflective stone wash. It's kind of hard to video it because it wants to catch my camera tripod. You have a decently robust tip there. They did leave some meat there, so it's not dainty for all your piercing task into potato chips. You do have a sharpening choil that clears the plunge, and it looks like you're going to have some sharpening life before it starts to widen up in the back. You have a well-placed functional row of jimping there. It lands perfectly with my medium-sized hands, and it grips my thumb just fine. We have almost a full flat ground blade that comes down to a decently thin edge. Let's do some cutting with it. This knife came to me hair whittling sharp out of box, and I can't tell you how excited that made me. My My previous experience with their knives, usually they do very well, and this one made sharp work of this cardboard. I did get hung up in that sharpening choil a couple of times, but after a few adjustments, it wasn't an issue. Definitely slicing very, very nicely. Now we move on to the Pine 2x4 to test the ergos and the edge. So with this one, I decided to increase the pressure into the wood a lot more quicker than I normally would, just to test to see if there was any hot spots, because I already knew this knife was gonna bite and it was gonna bite deep. I definitely had a lot of power in that hammer grip and no hot spots that I noticed. However, the handle is a little bit thinner, so my forearms start to fatigue after a little while. Now we move on to the 1/2" twisted sisal rope, and the belly on this knife is great for doing these push cuts through the rope. The edge felt very, very aggressive, and it was very comfortable in that pinch grip. And like I said earlier, that belly comes up right there, so I'm literally able to push down into the rope, and being that I'm doing push cuts, it was making this very, very easy. I felt very controlled, and I was kind of worried, but the narrow handles, being that they were contoured, weren't an issue, because they do have that slight bit of texture on the handles. Give you a little bit of grip, especially when you're wearing gloves. But we were blasting through the rope. I ended up making 50 cuts before I run out of rope, and definitely could have done more, but we still have the next test to go through. So far, very, very impressed. You can see here that being that it's a clip point, you will have to raise that knife up a little bit more, you know, unlike a drop point that tip is lower. But this is a straight clip, so it's still going to perform nicely. And boy, did it do good in this portion of the testing. All this material felt like styrofoam. It was very, very easy and enjoyable to do. I could tell that edge was still nice and crisp, and there's no doubt about it. We'll test the edge after this, see what it's like, and then I may do a stropping and then show you, because I know for a fact I could strop this back up and it'd be almost like it was when it came to me. Just by the way it feels, I mean, it's hard to explain, but if you've cut in a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying. Definitely gliding through this material. Didn't struggle on the rubber, didn't struggle on that dense cardboard, and here it's a little bit thicker than I normally do, and it's blasting through it because it still has nice aggression to it. Definitely was happy with this one, and it far exceeded my expectations, but not really, not with Quiet Carrot. Their stuff's usually really darn good. Well, hope y'all enjoyed that. I definitely did. Let's see what that edge is like. It still felt really good to me. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wow. Now let's close this up and take a look at the deployment in action, because this is another place this knife shines. It had a grin on my face the first time I flipped it and closed it. You have dual thumb studs. Good access to those thumb studs. Nice and snappy. And look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Very, very smooth. Reverse flick it. Now, I will say, only thing is, it took a little time to get used to the reverse flicking, because if you put your thumb like this, my finger like this, the index finger, I sometimes catch the blade, and I just move my finger down some, no problem whatsoever, if that's deployment that you like to use. But it's riding on ceramic bearings and a ceramic detent ball, very, very smooth. Good access on the left side as well, no problem. You can disengage that lock, and I doubt I can. Yep, I can even reverse flick it. All right, let's close it up and take a look at this stunning handle area. Your hardware on this side is just flat. They kept it minimal, just one here and one here. Flip it over. You have a Torx T8 for the pivot and T8 for the body screw here, and the clip screw as well. And this carbon fiber. This is, I think, Arctic Storm fat carbon. And the material is beautiful in itself. Seamless. You cannot feel that seam. It feels like one piece all the way around. They did a great job there. The scales are nice and contoured, softened on the edges. Very, very comfortable. I had absolutely no hot spots in the testing. You have their signature 4 holes on the scales. You see that in every one of their knives. I like that. And then if you look really close, hopefully I can get you all a good shot of this, maybe some B-roll of the micro milling. It's on the titanium, and if you can look really close, it goes onto the fat carbon, giving you just a little bit of extra traction, not much, but enough to make it to where it's not slick. Absolutely love that. You have a nice titanium backspacer, no high spots whatsoever. You have a deep, all the way to the back carry 3D milled titanium pocket clip, but it is tip up right hand carry only, unfortunately. Let's check it out in the pocket. All right, I found it went in the pocket very easily and it completely disappears. Now, there was one drawback, and it's even with my jeans, because I've carried this with jeans. I've carried this a lot since I've had it. The pocket clip doesn't have a ton of downward pressure. It has a nice retention point. It's not sitting on the pocket clip. I mean, on the lock bar, so that's a good thing. But I think after the video, I may bend this down just a hair just to give it a little bit more pressure, because when I wear this with my thinner shorts, I'm nervous because I could easily pull it out. So too nice of a knife to let it fall out. We're going to take a look at the inside of the knife, see what kind of weight relieving they have. Now, I'm sure on this on the show scale, you have all this titanium milled out for the fat carbon here. And it's also contoured. So the only milling that they have is on the lock side. And boy, did they put a lot. Hopefully y'all can see that in there. You have it all everywhere where they could put weight relieving. And like I said, like none on the lock side, I mean on the show scale, because you have this scale right here. So let's check it out on the scale, see how much it weighs. First off, in grams, 113.6 grams and 4 ounces. So definitely A-okay for me. Now let's open it up, take a look at the lockup. It's sitting, I'd say, at around 40–50%. You do have a lock bar insert there, stainless hardened lock insert. Absolutely no play side to side, no play up and down whatsoever. Bank vault lockup, very, very nice. Another thing that I really enjoyed with this knife is the lock bar access. Okay, this is cut down just a little bit further, but look at this. You have this thick slab of titanium with this nice softened chamfer right there, and on this side. This thing is very comfortable to disengage. Now for some quick size comparisons, we have the Quiet Carry IQ XL and the Quiet Carry Waypoint. The XL IQ is a little bit longer, and the Waypoint is just a hair shorter. Next up, we have the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3, right in the middle of those two. Ontario Rat 1 and 2, it's right in the middle of those two. Lastly, we have the Hogue Ritter RSK and Mini RSK. It's in the middle of those two, closer to the full-size RSK. All right, for my nitpicks and complaints, really only have 2 things, and they're just minor things, at least to me. First is the pocket clip tension. I think it needs to be increased just a little bit more. I don't know. Hopefully, mine's the only one that's like that. It's something I can fix. And then the second thing is just an aesthetic thing for me is the 2 lock bar reliefs, the relief cut. I think it would look super clean without that one right there. So I don't know. Maybe it's because they use such thick chunks of titanium. They needed to relieve it a little bit more so you wouldn't have super strong lock bar tension. I don't know. And it's not hurting the functionality whatsoever. And it's very slight right there. But just something that, kind of caught my eye. But I'm going to be honest. I absolutely love this knife. This is my favorite knife so far in 2023. And I'm excited to see where, we go from there. Super comfortable in hand. Beautiful action. Love it. Love it. Cannot wait to see what Quiet Carry does next. They keep blowing my mind, either with steel, design, textures, materials. Come on. Awesome stuff. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please just leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. And remember, this one may be coming out, dropping tomorrow. I will have links in the description. Stay tuned for that. Watch them on their Instagram page. And they have a email reminder list, I think, as well. All right, guys and girls. I'll see y'all on the next one.